for the first time in my life, I've stayed with myself.
I wanted to understand why this breakup happened.
That I took the decision to start self-talk there. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the second episode of Real Self-Talk. I have here Viorica and Elena, the co-founder of Self-Talk and my dear friend. Welcome back.
No, this is a great pleasure. The first episode was a bit emotional, or not emotional.
For us, at least.
I think so. But this one, I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, so I'm also quite excited about this one from all the episodes that we've planned in mind.
Yeah.
This one I'm most excited to talk about.
Why so?
We can just
start. Why so?
This episode is about experiences we had that served us well as therapy. Like through these experiences, we got to learn about ourselves so much. And these experiences are available. Most of them are available for all. So everyone can try them and check it out if it's a way that you can explore yourself. So we're going to share some insights from what we've done. And it's for you to choose if you're curious about it or not, or if that's an option even for you.
I think I will start with something that I liked from your experiences, because you had, I'll give you a question on that. So when we started, before you had a breakup and you went through this Vipassana meditation for 10 days with no talking. I was thinking about this myself at the moment, but I will delay it for springtime. But I'm curious about that experience, because before that, you didn't have any therapy experiences. You just went through this one just because you felt it. And it's not like someone told you to do it. You just felt to do it.
At that time, I had a job in London, and one of my coworkers, he used to do it. And I was like, what? For 10 days to not talk to anyone and meditate all day? And at that point, I did not know what meditation is. I thought meditation is to stay with your thoughts. So when I arrived at that meditation center, and the guy there told us, oh, you should ignore your thoughts. And I was like, what? What's happening? I came here to think. So, I just went straight into it, like without really researching what is meditation, understanding, or I have not even practiced meditation before. So, I think I can just share a bit about that. So what really surprised me about that experience is that, I went through a breakup that year. And we made so many plans with my ex-boyfriend, and I needed this time to kind of restructure my life without him. And I was like, I'm going to go to this Vipassana meditation. I'm going to just rethink my life.
Again, that part of you, which is, I'm going to do this very simple, easy. I'm just,
1, 2, 3, I'm going to sort it out.
Sorting it out.
I planned it like 3 months in advance. So I planned it. I did it in the UK in a very nice, countryside space. What was surprising is that 2 weeks before, I started to have some fears. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go crazy. It's a part of me is going to die there. Oh my God, something really big is going to happen. I started to get anxious from this experience. Will I be able to stay sane? How will I stay without a phone 10 days? Will I be able to not read, not listen to anything? My phone was taken away. There was no books, no writing, no nothing. You just meditate 8 hours a day with breaks every hour. They feed you there, and that's it. And you don't talk to anyone.
Wait, did they send me the schedule? Because I told you that I want to go. And it was something that you wake up at 4 a.m.
At 4 a.m., yeah. At 4:30, you're in the meditation class.
And then you do the meditation, and then you eat, and then you go again to meditate. It's 8 hours or something?
Yeah, 8 hours in total with breaks of 1 hour, 2 hours in between.
What was the biggest thing for you there? Because, that's something from the body perspective is you just isolate there with a lot of people. What I see is that you're in a big hall, you meditate, you eat, and what's happening inside?
I was shocked that for the first time in my life, I've stayed with myself. because I am a very high information consumer. Like I consume a lot of podcasts, reading, like I consume a lot. My mind was not used to not consume information. And for the first time there, I was forced to stay with the voice in my head. And I had to face it all. Like all the thoughts, all the things I've avoided maybe to think about, they all came. And I was surprised to discover that actually I'm a cool person. So
that was in the first day?
Yeah,
or
no,
was
not
like
in the
the
first
middle
day. Like, that
something?
was in the middle or something. But initially I had like so many thoughts that it's going to be so hard. Like my mind dramatized so bad. And when I got there, things were not that bad. It was not that hard, actually. It was quite decent. Like, first day I left my phone, I kind of forget about it. Second day, I even forgot I have a phone. Like, it was not as hard as I thought. And I realized that in life, this inner voice we have, it's lying to us so many times that like, oh, this is going to be so bad. It dramatizes a lot, like it makes us so afraid of stuff. And when you actually do it, it's not that bad. It's same with a business. Like you before starting it, you are thinking it's going to be so hard. But as you start doing it, you learn like actually it's doable. It's not that bad. So that was the first realization. And this fact to stay with myself for so many days, after some days, I realized I'm funny. Like I started to tell jokes in my mind with myself. Like I observed I have a very funny voice inside me. And I think in the 5th day, I finally felt myself. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, my cortisol levels went really down. I had a very slow lifestyle. For the first time in my life, I was not working, for like literally not touching any laptop, anything, any books. And I quite felt myself. I remember myself in the bathroom. I was like hugging myself. I was like, I miss you. Like, I miss myself, This was really huge for me at that point because, I had this like very busy lifestyle of like always deadlines, projects, working, meeting friends, listening to podcasts. I've never really took the time to just stay with myself and see what's coming, get bored. And also the third thing, and I will close about it, is that I took the decision to start self-talk there. I had this time to think about my life. I was 26 at that point. I was just turned 26 and I was like, I still have maybe 3, 4, 5 years till I will get married, have kids. And I have this dream of becoming an entrepreneur. Like I really dreamed about it from my high school. I was like, it's now or never. Like I have to do it now. And I took this like inner decision that I'm gonna start my own business. I'm gonna go back home, tell that investor to, invest. And I made this plan in my head how I should do it. And it was a very strong moment for me because my life.
I told you, I felt it.
Yeah.
From across the world.
I think 2 weeks later, I convinced an investor to put 100K into this idea. I've called Vio. I was like, we have 100K. Let's start working. So it was a very strong point for me of like, I'm stopping wasting my life. I'm going to do my dream right now. Like I'm going to follow my dream right now. Otherwise, there is a risk to live with this regret of never even trying. And this fear to have this regret at the end of my life that I've never even went after my dream, I was like, it was so bad. I was like, no, I'm going to do it. Even if I fail, it's even better than to live with a regret. When I came back, all those sounds and all those people talking, it was bothering me so much. But in 2 days, I was back to normal talking. But it was such a deep experience of meeting myself and recalibrating the direction of my life towards where I wanted it to go. And I'm so happy I took that decision.
I like that.
And when I met you and you told me that you wrote a book with your mom, you interviewed your mom, I was like, what a crazy person. Tell me about that. How did this idea to write a book with your mom so you get to know her, so you don't repeat her mistakes, came to you?
It ended up like that, to have a book, but I never thought that I'm gonna write a book on that. When it's all started, or like I had this calling, if you can call it. It wasn't a calling. It was pain. I was pain
also calling.
after also breakup. That was the same. It was the first time that I actually felt the pain so deeply. I lost a lot of weight. I shifted completely my life. I was working before. That was my first job that I had in my life in a corporate world. I quit on that. I went for a smaller salary, worked in an agency.
That was all because of a breakup, or like, what do you mean?
But I associate because of the pain that I wanted to change everything in my life. But I didn't I want to change it. I felt that I needed to change something. And it wasn't even a book. I wanted to understand why this breakup happened the way it happened. Again, digging, because that was always with me, why things happen the way they do. The thing that happened there was that it was the fourth one in my life.
The fourth breakup.
Yes, and all ended the same. And that made me question.
What do you mean they all ended the same?
All the same scenario was like I was left, or like my partner was leaving me. That was, it hits you or something. Okay, my God, what's happening?
Maybe it's me.
Yeah, but I'm very grateful though for that pain, for that period of time. I would write on the wall papers with messages to myself. I started to read a lot of things. It was, if I'm looking right now back then, oh my God, I would be like, let me give myself a hug. But
conclusion I take from here, breakups are quite transformational.
So it's good. Yeah, that for real. But what came to me, the idea was that I thought everything happens the way it happens because something is related with my parents. And because my mom was the first that I could reach to, and I thought that something is related to her, my relationship with her. That thing was intuitively to me. I asked her to keep a journal, like a diary. My intention was at that time to understand the mistakes that she made in her life as a woman, as a mother, at that time for me was more interested as a woman, because I was interested in more in that. To understand what she did in order for me to not do.
Simple and straightforward. Tell me what mistakes you've done so I don't do them.
But the way I formulated it was a diary that a friend of mine gave me 2 years before that. I kept the diary though. So now I'm thinking, the consequences, the things that, whatever. Okay, that's me on the other side. But
you're connecting the dots.
Yes,
yeah?
I'm connecting the dots. But that diary had sharing memories of a grandpa. So it was meant for a grandfather who would write there the memories of his life.
Mm-hmm. But for the grandchild to kind of remember.
So it was split from childhood, adulthood, parenthood, and all that. It was perfect for me. But still, my mom, she doesn't speak English. So I needed to translate the questions in Romanian, and some of the questions I thought that they're absurd, and I just did scratch them, and then I added the questions that I wanted. And because my mom didn't know,
at that point you were living in the US, yeah?
At that time I just moved to California, yeah. But she gave me one journal before I moved. So she wrote, I asked her questions about her childhood, about, who gave you this name? Or what was the biggest gift that you got for Christmas?
Yeah, I remember another one.
Things that I didn't even think of asking my mom anything of that, because
I love those questions. You should share them with...
They can contact me, and I will send you the questions.
I contacted her.
It's a really, I would not say even the bonding time. It's something very special that happens when parents write down the things that they go through in their lives. Because for me, when she gave me the first journal, after that she started to write. I didn't even know that I'm starting this thing with her, like the therapy while writing or something. But after she gave me the first journal, she started to write the second, the third. It's like something opened in her because of this initiative, And I wasn't ready for that, but it was really, really profound. So when she gave me this first journal, I started to read it. I still remember I was on the bus back to Romania at that time. I couldn't stop crying.
Yeah, I get so emotional just listening to it.
I didn't share it with my brother and my sisters because I wanted to keep it, I don't know, to share it in a different way. But it was very, very personal. And I could feel from every word that she wrote that this is my mom that writes this. The way she uses the words, the way she put the commas or anything. But that's not even the point.
Yeah,
the point
what was the main learning from here?
I, for the first time, saw her not as my mom. Like, I saw her as a human being which goes through all that she went through. And, like, for real, in my life, for the first time, I saw my mom as a child, as a teenager, as a friend, as a wife, and then when she wrote the part with the motherhood, when she wrote about each of her child and the birth, and like, that was the thing. I asked her to write not as if she would tell me things, but as she would tell to herself. So that was,
and she would talk to herself.
Yes.
So you made her self-talk.
I observed the way she talked to herself. It was not that good. I mean, not that lovely. And then when I read this, the idea came with the book. I didn't have any psychology background but I had this interest of, back then I already moved to San Francisco. The COVID started, and the idea came to me that I want to write this book about, hear this, transgenerational trauma. How the traumas in the
Vanica
parents,
family.
yes, in my parents' life transferred to us as their children, and then if we carry this on.
This is so crazy.
I have no idea how, but I thought that I can do it based on I will read, I will study, because No,
you had an idea. You went to Stanford and you did a course in writing.
I prepared for that. So okay, I'm taking this writing course at Stanford. There are so many psychologists, brilliant minds here. I'm going to interview them. I'm going to find it out. So that was one of the periods, crazy. I don't know. Everyone in COVID was locked in the house in the States at that time. We didn't have this lockdown, so I could go out. But I was spending 8 hours a day. I'm not kidding. 8 hours a day on the writing. So in the morning, I would wake up. I drew the structure of the book on how I thought that this is going to work. I had a big paper on, and then I wrote in that paper, because my parents divorced and my father, he left when I was 5, and I couldn't understand, for my entire life until that point, I was sort of trying to understand. That's where the digging comes from. I wanted to understand why things happened the way they did. Why did he leave, As a child, I think that was the inner urge of understanding things. I need to be grateful for this moment that actually gave me this ability to dig deeper. But it came out of the pain. So I had this paper on the big, wall where I would write. I took the period where they got divorced, because I was 5 and I didn't know much of that. I would split it by days or by weeks of what happened there. And I will interview my mom in the morning, which was 10 hours difference based on her stories, based on what she wrote in the diary. And I will try to and at the same time, read the novel books, read psychology books, psychoeducation, I don't know, the ones, family therapy books, to understand, I was trying to do 2 things at the same time. Make a storyline in a book.
And analyze that story.
Analyze it.
But also get the knowledge to analyze it. That's crazy. That's proper, that's self-therapy on steroids.
Well,
taken it to the next level.
What helped me was that I wrote it in English. I never published that book though.
Now it should be one of those sad movies. No, no, no.
I wrote it in English, and it helped me a lot because it helped me to detach from the story. I was thinking in a different language and all the meanings that we have attached in, because my emotional language is Romanian, because I lived here, the traumas and events, most of the things that were very impactful as meanings were in Romanian. So in English, I didn't have any attachment to, or like any meaning, any emotional attachment to what was happening there. So it was easier for me to do the analysis. Now, if I'm thinking back, if it would have been in Romanian, I would have been like, I guess I would have been a mess.
To process?
Too much. But right now it's good. I mean, right now it had its point like that.
So what was your main takeaway from that? Except you said you saw your mom as not as your mom, as a human being, and also you said that you managed to detach from your story. And what was the last one? Or not the last one, like another one.
I remember that I would wake up, go with my bicycle and come back to write. And I did that 4 versions of the book. I don't know why, but I wanted perfectionism, I guess. But I wake up like in one of these mornings and I read this book, I go through it, and it hits me. It was almost the end of COVID period, like... or my visa or something. I needed to leave the States at that time. And what I realized was that, okay, I know all this story. I interviewed my brother, my sisters, everyone who was around, my mom. And I wake up in the morning and I see, like very vividly in my mind, that I don't have my dad's picture of the things.
Don't have the...
like in the coin, you see the coin. I studied the coin on the one face so deeply. I couldn't.
That's
knew
an
it.
extremely
and then
depth.
Like the other side of it was like, oh my God, I don't have this. And then when I came back, it was the first time that I actually initiated to go to see my dad. That was my biggest thing that happened from all this process. All the process was to actually come back to my dad and have a conversation with him and just, like see my dad.
That's incredible. Like, that's so beautiful that this journey took you to reconnect with your dad.
Yeah, it's a process though as well, like the whole thing. I think we are in our lives we do a lot of activities that we take on, we don't even realize. Like, for example, this one with digging, which came from the pain with my dad, but it's a skill that I am like, I don't know.
It's a skill you apply everywhere. I know. She applies this in the job.
But that was the idea. A lot of things that we do in our life is rooted to our first two people in our life, which is dad and mom. Both. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
You have problems in relationships with women, go to your mom. You have problems with, I don't know, men, go to your dad.
Yeah.
I'm
explore the dynamic that you had, or explore the dynamics. It's not that simplistic, like
exactly. But
you can find lots of insights there.
So
crazy. Wow. When I heard this story for the first time, I was like, I can't believe you did this. Like, at first I could not believe that your mom agreed to do that. And also your dedication to invest so much time to understand it. Okay, it was COVID. So we also had this time.
That was not the point.
But I was shocked with the dedication you had to understand your own mindset, your own behavior.
Still, at some point, I gave up. I said, this is too much. I can't take it. I need some help. That was then when I started to do therapy.
Because your own knowledge were...
Yeah, because, I felt like in a circle where I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah, interesting you mentioned about this circle, because I felt it too with my breakup. At some point, it was not my breakup. I wanted to have a break. I wanted to break up, and I just could not understand what's happening, why. And like I felt like I was going in circles. And at some point I was like, my knowledge are limited. Like I need help from outside. There is something I can't see.
Yeah.
And at that point I turned to therapy and was like, help me. I've already tried everything I kind of supposed it could be a problem, and I still find myself in the same issue and can't sort it out.
Yeah.
So and I think that's a good point for it's an upvote for asking for help. Sometimes even our mind plays an illusion on us of like, oh, you're gonna figure it out, it's there. But actually we do need help from the outside.
Sometimes we do.
Help of experts that can guide us to explore specific sides of us, like
where we don't have the courage. I think the role of a therapist is that it speeds up the process. It's like, look, a book or like the whole thing, it took me a year and something for if I take it like a year and something, it could have been, I can say it could have been faster if I would have had a therapy. Not really.
It could have been faster if you had AI.
It took me it took me to this point. I needed to, I guess, to go through that in order to understand that to reconcile with my dad. But, it's, for those who are against it, I don't need help. There is a possibility that there are people who have the experience. They know, they already work with others, how to guide them. It's good. It's exactly as you mentioned in the previous episode, to get out of the system. And the therapist is someone out of the system, which helps you to get out of the system.
Out of your own mindset, your own system of thinking. Yeah. Crazy.
But this is something that so you mentioned something which is meditation that you tried. I tried meditation, which is a transcendental meditation, but that's different.
I think on my case, it was not about the meditation part, because I'm not like a meditation. It was about staying with myself uninterruptedly for a longer period than usual, to listen to myself, because I truly believe meditation is listening to your thoughts. But meditation is not that. I got to learn in that retreat that meditation is not that. I think in my case was contemplation.
Okay. And mine was writing, I guess.
What else have you tried? What other experiences helped you understand yourself better?
Fasting. I tried fasting on water. For the maximum that I did, I know that you're going to tell next your experience. The maximum that I did was 3 days. 3 days on water. I think the first time we did it together.
We did it together, yeah. I remember it was the end of 2021 or something.
Yeah, you were in London, I was in Romania.
And we were calling each other like, I'm so hungry.
But I was doing there because I was inspired to do it. So seeing others doing it, but also see the benefits of it. So like, I'm going to try.
What was the benefits you've experienced?
On the first day, I didn't. In the first day, my mind was like, oh my God, I want pizza. I want something else. I want everything. Give it to me. I'm going to eat it, everything. But the second day and the third day, I think they're the most, if you have the plan to go further, I think you're going to explain that. But the more you detach from the need of eating, the better, I think.
Not sure.
Because for me, in my case,
there is some
the
crazy.
second and the third day, I wasn't hungry anymore. I was not full of energy, but like that too. But I sort of had like this lightness. I don't know. It was easy. I don't know. My body was feeling easy to move, a lot of energy to do a lot of things. It's very important though. It's not like when we did that for the first time, we just
did it.
We just did it. Don't do that.
Yeah, you need a bit of preparation.
No, you need to prepare. You
minerals.
Need to have the proper water, which has pH of 9.5 at least.
I heard conflicting stories about that. So
for me, it
do
worked.
Your own research.
For me, it worked. When I did like with normal water, which was 7.5, which is the tap water, it was harder for me to keep 3 days. But when I have the alkaline water, it sort of is more comforting for my mind. mind or something. I'm not sure, but I didn't have those so much headaches because, from the chemistry point of view, is that the body is acidic, and when you get the alkaline water, is neutralizes the pH of the body, which means that you have less headaches, you have less of the, dizziness or something like that, which was easier for me though. And fasting at some in period of times. So that's the first thing, trying it just like crazy, then getting some knowledge and trying it again.
And I know at some point you read a book about it.
And then it's
Fast like a girl.
Then I came another, like you just start an initiative and then things come to you so that you make it better and better. Because the first thing that came when I did the first time, I talked first to someone who, a woman, of course, she told me to fast like a girl, not like as a man, because men, they have a different metabolic
different
system.
Hormones,
completely different body than women. Women have hormones like this, and you need to, it's like 28 days per month. You need to understand in which cycle of the hormones you are, when you can fast, if it's healthy to fast, if it's okay to fast. So that added more complexity to the initiative, which was like, oh, crazy, just gonna do it,
Yeah.
But you did 8 days.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You can tell more about that.
I think everything started from my unhealthy relationship with food. I used to struggle with food. I used to do a lot of emotional eating, and I observed that from university. When I moved on my own, I started to use food to comfort myself, and it was quite hard for me to handle this relationship with food. I used to have this love and hate relationship with food. I was getting anxious when I had too much food in the fridge.
I know that.
So, and also I was getting anxious when I would see sweets because I would want to eat them.
I wanted to give an inside joke. When we lived together, when we shared the apartment, I wanted so much food in the fridge. She didn't want any food in the fridge. And that was okay, that's
yeah,
okay.
I was getting so anxious when there was too much food in the house. So initially, my first 3 days of fasting, I felt so much peace in my mind. Finally, I was not thinking about food all the time. First day I was thinking about food. I was like, oh, I would eat this and that. But second day I did not have energy too much. So I felt a sense of peace that I don't remember to have experienced before. Such a peaceful mind. I did not have energy for negative thoughts. So that was surprising for me. Also, it was surprising that I was surviving. I could even move. I even went to the office, I did not work all day, but I was able to function. That was in my first 3 days. And that peacefulness I felt in my mind stayed with me. I got so curious about it. I was like, I want to explore more. So last year, me and my mom,
you did it together with your mom.
I did this together
that's actually
with
amazing.
my mom. So we decided to do a 7-day water fast, but we did it in a retreat. We did not do it on our own. We did it in a retreat in Romania, and we had there doctors. We had classes about fasting. So it was done in a proper system. We followed a system. We had some massages. We had all type of hydrocolonotherapy. It would clean and we had 4 types of water. But the craziest part that happened to me is that first, I was just back from the US and I felt like my internal, my gut flora got affected in the US from the food. So my intention was to clean up my gut flora.
Okay.
But I got much more than that. I experienced a very deep sense of presence. I could not think about the past and about the future. I've never felt that present in my life. The current state, the room I was in, everything I was doing, I was so present in that situation. And I was so sensitive to anything that was coming my way. I could cry so easily just from the beauty of seeing the forest. Or from fresh air. I started to love fresh air. I constantly would open the door of our hotel room and I would be like, oh my God, this fresh air is like so fresh. Like something in my body changed the way I perceived reality. And actually it got me so interested. It was for the first time when I did it, so I was so surprised of what's happening to me. I kept working in those days. You remember, I was hiring a designer, I was running interviews. My mind was still functionable, but I could not think about strategies for the future, and I could not analyze anything in the past. I remember I had to do a report. I could not think about the past. But if I had an interview for the designer, something I would have now to do, I was able to do it with no problem.
So you were too present.
Yeah, I was so
no
present.
future, no past. You were just in the present moment.
Exactly. And another thing that happened for me was that this was very interesting, but I could develop this sense of blind belief. Because I meditated a lot on our business in that period, and we were going through some hard times. Like we needed a designer, we were negotiating an investment deal, and I needed this internal blind belief thing. Like I needed to blindly believe this is gonna work. I was the CEO, I was hiring people, I was negotiating that deal. There was nothing that I could base my belief on. I had to blindly believe in myself, in something. And this experience of like, it just happened. I don't know how, but it just happened that I felt it in my gut, this belief, like that I truly believe it. And now if we look at this journey with self-talk, I'm surprised myself. I have this like drive in me, but a part of it, I could feel it in that experience. Like, I don't know, I was very in touch with my body. Like my emotions, I felt them very intense. Yeah, and it was a crazy experience, to be sincere. And I'm gonna definitely do it again.
You know, this book is called Lifespan from David something. I forgot his last name. Yeah. Where he says that fasting helps for anti-aging or something.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
actually...
That was one of also there is.
The benefits of it is it rejuvenates the cells in the body. So it's actually good when we fast.
Jesus did this 40 days of fasting in order to connect with God.
But we also have a friend, which we wrote about in our book, that he also did a fasting for 40 days. That
49, I think, was his last record.
This is crazy.
It is, yeah. We definitely encourage you to do research if you consider doing that, because I've done a lot of research myself in order for my muscles to not... we are doing a lot of moving, so our muscles are not getting affected. We were having 4 types of special water, all type of minerals. We were following some procedures written by the doctor there. It's more than that. Like,
it's not just like you take it, you drink the water and that's it. No,
some people do it like it's a learning journey, but in order for you to keep yourself safe and not affect your body later down the line, you need to be aware of to prepare it well for it. Like, I am a big believer in researching everything you want to do with your body.
I bet that you are. Sometimes.
So I even matched my period with that fasting thing. So I do it in the right part of my period.
Fasting for men is different than fasting for women. That's also there are so many things that come into this.
I want to close it up with that. As a result of that experience, I developed such a strong self-esteem, because I think what was affecting my self-esteem the most before was my relationship with food. Whenever I would eat too much or eat unhealthy, I would be quite disappointed with myself. Like, my self-esteem would drop a bit by every bite I would take. And as a result of that, I've proven to myself that I can handle it. Like, I'm strong, I can do it. And I mentioned at some point that my self-worth developed. I think this was one of the experiences when my self-worth increased. And because we did it with my mom, this is another side of the story. The fact that I spent time with my mom, I got to learn what a beautiful human being she is, and how many things we have in common, and we are both quite active and positive and laughing a lot. And there were 120 people doing the same retreat as us, but me and my mom were smiling, laughing. So it was a beautiful experience. I remember the first vacation I had with my mom. We were in Israel. And my mom used to piss me off, like, so bad. And this was the last vacation, this retreat we had, because of the therapy I did, I started to see my mom as such a beautiful human being. Like, I started to appreciate what she has positive. Like, it was a beautiful experience to do it together with her.
I love that. From both of us, you are the one right now who are experiencing more of this kind of experiences outside. The last one that you did was this dark retreat, which was in a room which has no light in it. I had an experience of eating like that, like eating in a dark room, but like staying in a dark room for 3 days, right?
48 hours. No, 2 days. 2 days.
2
only.
days. 2 days.
Yeah. It's good you said the last one, because this is what I also told myself. This is going to be the last one. I'm like, next experience, I'm going to go on a vacation. All inclusive. No more experiences. So yeah, the last crazy thing I tried was this dark retreat. Was just before launching our pivot. So this September.
You see, before something big, you go somewhere.
So this September, we've relaunched our app. We did a pivot and we relaunched it again. And 2 days before that, I planned this time in the dark.
No, but look, you're laughing right now. But when we thought about it, like when we're discussing about it, this is something specific to the region where we are from, like Eastern Europe, where all the, like back in the days, the gods, they would go back into the caves to connect with the god or like things. It can be taken as this is crazy idea, but if you go into the depth of it, like
it's a practice that was done before, yeah.
You close some senses, which means the eyes, so that you can connect with the other senses of yours. That's how I perceive it, though. Like blind people, they have other abilities than we don't have, and we don't even know that they have it because we don't experience the same experiences. So I'm really curious of how was the experience of sitting in the dark.
I did it out of curiosity to face my fears. I'm a big believer that fear is the killer of the mind and we have to face them. And what I learned in that experience is that I faced those fears. And my mind is very, like, I wanted to kind of make a point to my mind that you listen.
You sit here.
Like, I am the boss here, not you. And, I stayed 48 hours in the dark in a room where the door was open. I could leave anytime, but I didn't. And I told my mind, we're going to stay here 48 hours. And we stayed there for 48 hours. And through this experience, I learned that my mind is a very useful tool. And if we decide, me, myself, and I, we decide to do something, we are going to face the pain. We are going to face the discomfort because we know there is a reward at the end of this experience. And it was such a beautiful realization to learn that my mind is very quiet and listening, and it's not this crazy, wild that I used to think it is. So in that experience, I realized from now on, my mind is good, like it's strong. I will let it do its work, but I will focus on my body to become strong.
I remember that when you came from it, because you told me I remember from the one with fasting was the peace. You felt the peace. That's what stayed with me. With the dark retreat was that, okay, I'm done with